Now, Roma Wines, R-O-M-A, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. Roma Wines present Suspense.
Tonight, Roma Wines bring you Mr. Joseph Cotton as star of The Pasteboard Box, a suspense play produced, edited, and directed for Roma Wines by William Spear.
Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, is presented for your enjoyment by Roma Wines. That's R-O-M-A, Roma Wines. Those excellent California wines that can add so much pleasantness to the way you live, to your happiness in entertaining guests, to your enjoyment of everyday meals. Yes, right now a glassful would be very pleasant, as Roma Wines bring you Mr. Joseph Cotton in a remarkable tale of suspense.
Save it, Walter. Taking all of that I can. I'm through, you understand? Through.
Oh, sorry, sir. Couldn't help but overhear you.
What's the difference now?
I hope you haven't quarreled seriously with your brother.
Quarreled? What else have I ever done with him but quarrel?
Oh, I realize he's a bit difficult at times, sir, but I'm sure he has your best interest at heart.
Yeah, well, from now on, he can stop worrying about my best interest because I'm getting out of his life tonight for good. Grabbed my hat and coat and rushed out of the house looking wild-eyed and distracted. I caught a taxi right in front of the door and told him to go to the 23rd Street ferry. On the ferry, I stood by the stern rail. I walked up and down puffing hard on a cigarette, looking out into the fog and acting nervous and jumpy. I leaned against the rail and bowed my head down on my arms. 2 or 3 people standing around out there began to look at me. Then, when we were about a third of the way out in the stream, I took off my coat, had my name and address written with indelible ink on the label, and my hat that had my initials stamped in gold on the sweatband, and laid them down on the deck, climbed up on the rail, and jumped. It was as easy as that. A fight with my brother that was loud enough so the houseman couldn't help but hear it. A jump off the 23rd Street ferry, leaving plenty of identification behind. An easy swim back to shore where I had planted my dry clothes. And a phone call to the news to report my own suicide. It was just as easy as that. On Friday afternoon, I waited across the street until I saw Williams, the houseman, leaving for his usual weekend. And then I let myself in the front door and walked back to the study. Come in, Williams. I thought you'd gone. Hello, Walter. Jack. What's the matter, Walter? You look as though you'd seen a ghost. Jack, well, haven't you seen the papers? I thought you were dead. Yeah, I changed my mind. Jack, how could you? How could you have done such a thing? I didn't. I just went swimming, that's all. Don't tell anyone I'm here. Yes? This is Mr. Parcell. Yes, I told you once it was broken. Well, I'm sure I don't know. I know certainly I didn't break it. Yes, it's still in the box. Well, I'll send you the pieces if you like. Well, that's a little late, I'm afraid. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. It's the principle of the thing. Besides, I'm going out of town. Yes. Yes, I suppose there'll be someone here to receive it. All right. All right. Silly. Goldfish bowl. What? Oh, you know, I ordered a larger one, and it arrived this morning, all smashed up, and they were arguing about sending me a new one. There it is in that big square box. You can see for yourself it's smashed. That's certainly like you, Walter. At the last minute, you worrying about a $2 goldfish bowl. What do you mean, the last minute? Well, you just said over the phone you were going out of town. Yes? What's the idea? Well, Jack, I was terribly upset when I heard that, I thought... I'll bet. Where are you going? Well, I haven't quite made up my mind. I just wanted to get away. Taking quite a lot of luggage for just a little trip out of town, aren't you, Walter? Clearing the papers out of your desk, too, huh? Well, I simply thought I could get a little work done while I was away. Or were you thinking of staying away for a while because somebody might ask questions about why I jumped in the river and the answers might make you look like a heel? Of course not. Such an idea never entered my head. You always were, Yellow. You'd run away from anything. Jack, that's quite enough. That's right. Those are the truest words you ever spoke. And I wouldn't bother about packing luggage anymore if I were you. What? Why not? Because where you're going, you won't need any luggage. What do you mean? This is what I mean. Jack, don't you're choking. You're choking. You won't need any luggage anymore, brother. It's like Cain felt about Abel, I suppose. There he was, lying on the floor, looking as though it was me lying there, only it wasn't. It was him, and I was glad. It's a funny thing about twins, being one yourself. You notice them more than most people would. And all the twins I'd ever known had got along good. Extra good. But not me and Walter. I hated him ever since I could remember. I hated him because the old man was about the only one who could tell us apart. And it was Walter he always called to him, not me. I hated him for what he got and what I didn't. I hated him because he was always good and I was bad. I hated him because the old man left everything he had to him, and it wasn't hay either. And because I couldn't do anything about it on account of that forgery rap I'd taken. And I hated him for the way he'd taken care of me since I got out of jail and thrown it in my face every chance he got. I hated him for all those things and a lot more. And I was dead. And I'd killed him. And I was glad. You don't believe me? Brother, I felt great. I went over to the mirror and combed my hair over to the left side like his. And I locked the study door and went upstairs to the bathroom and shaved off my mustache. He was clean shaven. Went back in the bedroom and put on one of his suits. And when I got through and stood in front of the big full-length bedroom mirror, I looked a spitting image of him. No one in the world could have told that I wasn't Walter Parcell. In fact, I was Walter Parcell. I went back to the study. All I had to do now was dispose of the evidence. But first, I couldn't resist looking around. It was mine now. All mine. Those stupid fish he had all over the place in glass tanks, the books he never read, and all the rest of it. In his desk was a list of all the bonds and securities and the number of his safe deposit box and the combination to the safe and the bank book, all nice and neat. And on the desk was a picture of Helen Winters, the little vixen he was engaged to. And I made a mental note that I'd at least have to call her before I left town. It looked funny if I didn't. I might even do more than call her. Well, there's no use stalling any longer. It had to be done. I got the body over my shoulder and carried it upstairs and put it in the bathtub. I locked the bathroom door from the inside. Then I got to work.
For Suspense, Roma Wines are bringing you as star Joseph Cotton in the Pasteboard Box by Joe Grenzebach. Roma Wines' presentation tonight in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Between the acts of Suspense, this is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines. Here's a simple secret about entertaining that has won compliments for many a hostess. The next time you have dinner guests, keep them pleasantly occupied during that hour before the meal by serving Roma California Sherry. Serving Roma Sherry before dinner has become a friendly American custom. Yes, glorious golden amber Roma Sherry with tempting fragrance and intriguing nut-like taste is the perfect first call for dinner. And you'll find Roma Sherry equally pleasing with a tasty evening snack, a delightful wine to serve anytime. Roma Sherry, like all Roma wine, is a true natural wine, crushed from choicest grapes, grown in California's finest vineyards, then unhurriedly guided to taste perfection by Roma's ancient winemaking skill, bottled at the winery for unvarying goodness. Delight your family, your guests, with delicious Roma Sherry, now selling at the lowest prices in years. Insist on Roma, R-O-M-A, for uniformly high quality at low cost. Remember, more Americans enjoy Roma than any other wine.
And now, Roma Wines bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Joseph Cotton as star of the Pasteboard Box, a play well calculated to keep you in suspense.
It was early morning before I was able to leave the house. I walked to the nearest subway with a suitcase, a heavy suitcase, because it was also weighted down inside with old furnace grates and sash weights. I got off the subway at Dyckman Street and took the Dyckman Street ferry to Jersey. About halfway across, the suitcase that I had on the rail, as though it was something to lean on, just sort of slipped out of my hands into the river. I looked mad and then foolish, and the people that saw it snickered behind their hands. And, well, that was that. About an hour later, the same thing happened on a 42nd Street ferry. And the mortal remains of Walter Parcell were gone. All but his head. At first, I hadn't known what to do with that head. It wouldn't fit into either of the suitcases, no matter what I did. And then I thought of that box. That big pasteboard box that the goldfish bowl had come in. It was still sitting there in the corner of the desk. I weighted it and wrapped up the outside in the paper it had come in and started out again, the 14th Street ferry this time. I had it balanced up there on the rail just like I'd had the others, and then...
Hey, look out! Hey, it's all right, mister. I got it.
Let go.
Oh, I've got it. Huh? What's the matter?
I thought you dropped it.
No, here it is. Hey, that was close, all right. Another second and it would have been gone for good.
Yeah, they've been gone for good, all right. Walking across 14th Street on the way back from the ferry, people were pushing behind me, and the next thing I knew, I was in a department store. I was walking down one of the aisles just to keep moving and not to attract attention when it hit me right between the eyes. There was another box, a box just like mine. It was sitting up there on one of the counters, and next to it was an old guy looking at some bow ties. I walked over and put my box on the counter next to his, and I pretended I was waiting for a clerk. Then, after a couple of minutes, I pretended to change my mind. I picked up the box, his box, of course, and started for the door.
Hey, I say there. I say, sir, you've taken my box.
Oh, what do you mean, your box? Let go of me.
But it is. It's my box. You left yours there on the counter.
Oh, you crazy. Let go, I tell you.
What's the trouble here?
Why, this man's got my package and won't give it back.
Oh, shoplifter, eh?
No, it's not that. He left a package of his own there, but he insists that mine is his.
What's in it?
A parchment lampshade. I bought it in your furniture department just now. The girl would confirm that.
All right, what's in yours?
Mine?
Yes, what's in your box?
Why,
Well, we'll open it up and see.
No, you
The
can't.
only way to tell, open them both up. If you think this is your package...
No, wait, I made a mistake. It isn't, Here, now give me mine.
Now, just a minute.
Give it to me.
Just a minute.
Give it to me.
Oh, give it to him. It's his. I saw him put it there.
Very well, but
Thank you.
Why, he acted like a madman.
Maybe I did act like a madman. I guess I did because I was pretty close to panic when I got out of that store. I started walking. I just walked. I don't know how or for how long or what, but all I could think of was, what'll I do now? What'll I do with it? What'll I do with it? I didn't snap out of it until I found myself a half block from home, and not knowing how I got there, all I knew was I still had that box and I had to get rid of it. Then I saw the sewer. A corner sewer with a big wide opening. I crossed over to it as though I were going to step on the curb. Stumbled and gave it a good kick. Slid in and I heard it fall. I got home. A half hour later, I was just beginning to relax, and the doorbell rang. I went out in the hall, switched on the vestibule lights, and opened the door. There stood a couple of kids.
Guess this is yours, ain't it, mister?
What?
We were standing across the street when you dropped it. Then we saw you come into this house. That's how we know. We got some string and a fish hook and pulled it out. It is yours, ain't it?
No.
You mean it ain't yours?
No, I never saw it before in my life. Never beat it.
Oh, then we can open it, huh, Johnny?
Wait, no.
I don't know. Maybe we ought to take it to the cops.
Here, you give that to me. Give it to me.
But you said...
I made a mistake. I didn't recognize it. Now give it to me. Beat it.
Well, aren't you glad to get it back?
Huh? Oh, sure. Here.
Thanks. Gee, $5. There must be diamonds in that box.
It was back. The kids were hardly down the steps before I was out the house without a hat, a coat, or anything, running toward 2nd Avenue. I didn't care who saw me now. Didn't dare stop for a taxi. I had to keep running. I couldn't stop for a second. I kept on running up 2nd Avenue to 59th Street, going out onto the bridge. I was still running, and I didn't stop until I got nearly to the middle. And then I blew it. Out over the railing as far as I could. I watched it arc down and saw the white splash in the darkness as it hit the water and a couple of 100 feet below. It was gone. No matter what, it was gone. Somehow I got home. But it was daylight before I could get myself to sleep. Monday morning, I felt better. Got up fairly early and went down to study and make my plans. Seeing the picture of Helen Winters on the desk reminded me I ought to call her. As Walter left town without even calling the girl he was supposed to marry, it would look so good. There was no answer, so I hung up. Then I rang for Williams, the house man.
Yes, sir?
Oh, Williams, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to have to let you go.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it, sir. If it's anything I've done.
Oh, quite the contrary. I've found our association most pleasant, but the death of my brother has been quite a shock, of course.
Of course, sir.
I'm going away. I don't know how long I shall be gone, or when I shall be back, or if I shall come back here at all. So I thought it was best this way.
Yes, sir. When will you be leaving, sir?
Within a few days. There's no hurry, but I wanted you to be able to make your own plans. I'm making arrangements this afternoon to sell the house and the furniture, and the associations here are painful, you understand?
I understand, sir.
My brother Jack had his faults, of course. We all do.
I know how you feel, sir.
But after all, Williams, he was my brother.
Yes, sir. Blood is thicker than water.
You're so right, Williams. That first performance left me feeling pretty satisfied. The next one wasn't so easy. But for things to look right, it had to be done. So after breakfast, I went down to police headquarters.
Well, what can we do for you, Mr. Parcell?
Why, I'm going away for a while, and I wondered if you had recovered my poor brother's...
his body?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. We haven't, Mr. Parcell.
Oh, I see.
Now, while you're here, though, there is something you might look at for us.
Very well.
This way, please. It's just a routine matter of identification, but we like to have these things on the record, you know.
Of course. Something you found?
Yeah, that's right. Fished it out of the East River this morning.
The East River?
That's right. The East River.
For a minute, I just stopped breathing. Because it wasn't in the East River that I jumped off the ferry. That was on the other side of the island. The East River was where I'd thrown it. And then I was all right again because I saw what he had. A pair of trousers Mine.
You recognize these, Mr. Parcell?
Oh, yes. Those are the trousers my brother wore the night he died.
Uh-huh. Probably kicked him off and tried to swim to shore. Yeah, well, thanks, Mr. Parcell. That's all we need.
Very well, but you said the East River, and it was the North River where poor Jack...
Oh, carried down by the current and around by the tide. Caught in the propeller of a ship, maybe. Funny things happen in the waters around this island, Mr. Parcell.
Yes. Yes, I imagine they do. So, that was all right, too. When I got out of headquarters, I went across the street to a pay station and phoned Helen Winters again. There's no answer. I hung up. Then I went uptown to the bank, Walter's Bank. I'd never been in it before in my life, and I'd been wondering how I'd know who to be chummy to, but I needn't have worried about that.
Well, good morning, Mr. Parcell.
Good morning.
We were all terribly sorry to hear of your bereavement, Mr. Parcell.
Yes, thank you. As a matter of fact, that's what brings me here.
I see. Something about the estate?
Oh, no, but I shall want to get into my safe deposit box.
Why, certainly, Mr. Parcell.
Thank you. By the way, do you happen to know what my cash balance is? Just roughly.
Roughly between $32,000 and $33,000.
I'll want $5,000 in cash. I'll make out a counter check. You can forward the rest when I've made banking connections in Mexico.
Oh, Mexico? Well, do you expect to be in Mexico for any length of time?
Oh, yes, for quite a length of time.
Oh. Shall we go down to the vault, sir?
Oh, yes, by all means. When I got out of the bank, it was raining, but I didn't care. I liked it. I was walking on air anyway, and I decided to walk home that way. It's nearly 30 blocks, and I was soaking wet when I got there, but what's a little rain to a guy with $100,000 in his pocket? Front door wasn't locked, and in I went and hung up my hat and coat in the hall and was wondering whether to have a nice hot bath before calling Helen Winters. And when I saw it, the box, that horrible pasteboard box, it had come back. For a second, I thought my mind had gone. But there it was, sitting on the desk. Wet and soggy, and the limp paper peeling off as though it had been fished out of the river just that minute. And then I remembered I hadn't seen it sink, and what the cop had said about tides and currents. And then the doorbell rang. I rushed to the window. There was a police car outside. For the moment, I thought of grabbing up the box and running, escaping out of the back somehow, and then I knew that wasn't any use. It didn't matter. If it was some sort of a police plan, it didn't matter anyway. And if it wasn't, if it was just another one of those terrible coincidences, there was still time. Whatever they wanted, I could bluff it through, and there'd still be time. I pulled myself together and went out and opened the door. Yes?
We're from headquarters.
Yes.
You're Walter Parcell?
Walter Parcell? They thought I was Walter Parcell. They didn't even know he was dead. That was all right. There was still time.
I said, are you Walter Parcell?
Yes, I'm Walter Parcell.
You know a young woman named Helen Winters?
Oh, Helen Winters, of course. She's my fiancée.
And I'm afraid you're going to have to come along with us, Mr. Parcell.
With you, why?
Helen Winters has been murdered. And I might as well tell you now that anything you say will be used against you. The evidence is pretty conclusive.
That
you murdered her.
I didn't. I couldn't.
We found her this morning in a coroner report. She was killed Friday night. You were seen entering the place that night, and you were seen leaving. A gun that we traced to you was found in an ash can a block away. Now, what do you expect us to believe, Mr. Parcell?
Wait a minute. There's a mistake. There's been a terrible mistake. I'm not Walter Parcell. I'm his brother. I'm his brother, Jack.
The one who committed suicide?
Yes. Only I didn't. I changed my mind. I swam back to shore. I came back here, and I found Walter. He was dead. He killed himself. And now I know why. Don't you see? Because he murdered the girl.
You didn't report it. Where's the body?
The body?
Yes, the body.
No, that's it. Now, look. Everyone knew I quarreled with Walter, and so I thought they'd pin it on me. I thought they'd say I killed him. So I disposed of the body. Then I took his place. We're twins, don't you see?
Mr. Parcell, I've been in this business a long time, and I've heard some beauties. But I never had a man ask me to believe one like that.
True. I swear it's true.
All right, then where's the body?
I threw it in the river with the weight.
I thought so. Come on.
Now, wait a minute.
Come on.
I can prove it. I can prove it.
Yeah, how?
Because I've still got his head.
His head?
That would prove it, wouldn't it? Or wouldn't it?
It certainly would.
Come on. I'll show you. Here in that box, see?
I'd open it.
Sure. I threw it in the river, and it got back here somehow. It's still wet, see?
That doesn't look like anybody's head to me, Mr. Parcell. To me, it looks like just an ordinary goldfish ball.
That was it, of course. The goldfish bowl he'd been arguing about on the telephone when I came back and found him packing up, running away, because he'd murdered his girlfriend. So, I don't know where Walter is now in those swirling tides and currents, but I know one thing. Wherever he is, he must be laughing his head off.
Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines. R-O-M-A. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. Before we hear again from Joseph Cotton, the star of the Pasteboard Box, tonight's suspense play, this is Truman Bradley for Roma Wines. Each day, more Americans are switching to Roma and discovering what a wonderful help Roma wine is in making simple home entertainment successful. The reason? Taste. Superb taste for only pennies a glass. And, says famous hostess Elsa Maxwell, there's a Roma California wine to delight everyone. Rich, ruby red Roma port, mellow, nut-like Roma sherry, smooth, golden Roma muscatel, and flame-bright Roma Tokay. I give my guests their choice and share with them Roma's goodness. Each of these fine Roma wines may be served with cake, fruit, nuts, or other tasty snacks when guests drop in. Many prefer these wines with dessert. You'll find them delightful anytime. Get Roma wine tomorrow. You'll be amazed how little such taste luxury costs. For Roma wine, famed for uniformly fine quality, is now selling at the lowest prices in years. Insist on Roma, R-O-M-A, Roma wine. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is Joseph Cotton. I've enjoyed my appearance on Suspense as I always do. Next Thursday, a unique actress whom all of us here in Hollywood love and admire, as you do, will be the leading lady on Suspense, Dame May Whitty. Miss Whitty will appear as a kindly lady whose advertisement requesting genteel part-time employment involves her in a predicament which threatens first her freedom and then her very life. I'm sure we'll all want to make it a point to listen. And by the way, if you feel that the character I played tonight was a little, what shall we say, extreme, please forgive me. I've never played twins before, and I guess I just lost my head.
Joseph Cotton appeared through the courtesy of David O. Selznick, in whose production Duel in the Sun he will soon be seen. Next Thursday, same time, Roma Wines will bring you Dame May Whitty as star of Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills.
Produced by William Spear for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
KQW, San Jose.
Hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Bah Ghoulie Show, and don't forget to check out Channel Watchwaddle for some fun cartoons. Enjoy some jokes with a big box of popcorn.
Corny corn popcorn for all folks, about as corny as Waddle's jokes.
Count Chocula and Frankenberry coming your way. How about a monster for breakfast today? Frankenberry has strawberry-flavored marshmallows. And Count Chocula has chocolatey marshmallows. Thought of this good nutritious breakfast.
Something free lurks in Monster cereal. Will it make you handsome, charming? Specially marked boxes of Monster cereals know. Inside one of these free wax lips, fangs, or mustaches, they just uncover the real you.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host bidding you welcome through the squeaking door. Well, we're overcome with Yuletide spirits this evening. Parties everywhere. Ah, what fun. One fellow was lit up like a torch. His wife had struck a match to him. Big shindig at the city morgue. Everybody was a little stiff. Out in Hollywood, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman threw a monster jamboree. The guests had a screaming good time. And the punch bowl, just right. Chilled to body temperature. Sub-zero. Everybody's blood ran cold.
Tonight's Inner Sanctum mystery, Death Out of Mind, was written by John Robert and stars Larry Haynes in the role of Ed with Ann Shepard as Mary.
And now, gentle people, now for the soothing nuances of shrieks in the night. Say, ever see the little man who wasn't there? No. Carefully, right behind you. We're in apartment 2A of a cheaply furnished flat in Chelsea facing the street. The room is pitch dark. A patch of moonlight is crusted on the window as if it can't get through the grime. Ed Tate is crouched at the window watching the street. His face...
Mary?
Ed, there's nobody downstairs.
Oh, there must be. I've seen him. Here from the window. See? See, Santo? There, leaning against the lamppost, smoking a cigarette. I've been watching him, Mary. I can't take my eyes off him.
Ed, you've got to take hold of yourself. Leave this room.
He'll be waiting for me wherever I go. He'll be everywhere waiting for me. Turn a corner and run into him. Catch a train and he's sitting beside you. Run away and meet him in Boston, Frisco, Hong Kong.
Don't, please.
He's Fate. Fate dressed in a black suit.
Please, no more wild talk.
I'm crazy. Is that what you mean?
Ed, darling, think. We're just married. I'm a bride. We were going to be something wonderful.
You married a guy with whams in his head. Marriage never had a chance. You got a stacked deal, Mary.
I'll get help. Operator, I want the police. Operator. There's no buzz. The line's dead.
He cut the wires. I told you he was downstairs.
Can't stand any more of this.
Mary. Mary, don't cry over me. Forget me. Just turn time back 24 hours and forget you ever married me.
But you've done nothing. It's just in your mind.
This is a payoff for other things. And there's always a payoff waiting somewhere. There's always retribution. Now, you get away, Mary. This door.
No.
I'll wait for Santa alone. I don't want him coming to
Eddie,
you.
he doesn't
Take
exist.
the back staircase and hurry.
I'll get a doctor. You're sick.
Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. He's come. He knocks on my door. Fate knocks. Patiently. Once, twice, three. One, you're cornered. Two, you can't get away. Three, open the door. So simple, Dad. No fuss, no wasted talk. Just 1, 2, 3. Open up. Okay, Santa, I'm not running away. I'm opening up. Sergeant, I'm Ed Tate. I just killed a man. Here's a gun.
Hey, this guy's sick. Crazy, call an ambulance.
It's been 6 hours, Doctor. I hate to push, but how much longer?
Well, it's futile being a district attorney now, Kittredge. The prisoner's a very sick man.
Just a few questions.
Useless. His memory is gone temporarily. Who is he?
Ed Tate, reporter on leave from the Bulletin. He was released from a sanitarium less than 2 weeks ago. Here's a complete report on him.
Oh.
On his way from the station house to the hospital, Tate kept insisting he'd murdered a killer named Santo.
But he did murder a man.
Oh, he did that all right, but to the best of the department's knowledge, there never was a killer named Santo. How long before he can answer questions?
Days, maybe weeks.
The department can't wait that long.
If we tried narcosynthesis, a compound popularly known as truth serum.
Get started, Doctor. Murder can't wait.
Tate.
Yes.
Count backwards. Starting at 100.
199. 98.
Tell us all about it, Tate.
All about it. The sanitarium?
Yes, about the sanitarium. You were there in Harbor Hospital. You were released 2 weeks ago. You went there from your newspaper. Why did you go to the sanitarium, Tate?
Stella Andrews killed herself. I couldn't get her out of my thinking, get her out of my head.
Who was Stella Andrews?
She figured in an unsolved murder mystery 20 years ago. I dug the story up and put it back on the front page.
Yes, I remember the case, Tate. Stella Andrews was tried for murder and acquitted. They set her free. You uncovered new evidence?
No. I did it as a circulation stunt to sell papers. I didn't think of Stella Andrews. I didn't think.
Go on, Tate.
I never even met her until that last day.
What happened that last day?
Stella Andrews confronted me in my office. A gray, tragic woman. She told me that she'd long ago changed her name. That she'd made a new life for herself. Until this notoriety started suspicions in the minds of her neighbors. She said she was too old to make a new life for herself all over again. And then...
Yes, Dave.
I turned away. In shame, despising myself. And she was gone. 20 stories to the sidewalk. An innocent woman paid the supreme penalty. I was her accuser, her judge, and jury. I was a murderer.
Go on, Tate.
Well, After that, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't work. I wound up in the sanitarium.
And then?
Well, on my release, I tried to forget Stella Andrews lying crushed on the sidewalk. I tried to get back in stride. I tried to kid myself there wouldn't be a payoff somewhere for what I'd done. I tried marriage. I dragged a sweet kid into partnership in the accounting I owed fate.
What did you do, Tate?
I eloped with Mary Connor, a public librarian. For me, Mary had the kind of magic that makes pain disappear. I'd only known her for a whirlwind week, but long enough to know she was gold through and through. We were motoring back from Elkton, just married. Happy?
What time is it, Ed?
Minute past midnight.
I've been Mrs. Edward Tate for 4 hours. I'm hungry.
Oh, coffee do me fine, too. Keep lookout for a road stand, huh?
There's one right ahead.
Oh. Funny looking joint. Fine place for a wedding supper.
It's the Ritz, darling. Hamburgers like filet mignon. Come on, my mouth's watering.
It's a beat-up cardboard shack. The kind that generally bloom in June, grab some tourist change, and then fade in October. The sign outside read Joe's Barbecue. The inside was gloomy.
What'll it be, folks?
2 hamburgers.
And coffee. Coffee first.
No hamburgers. I'm out of meat.
Oh, what have you got?
Eggs, ham, and Swiss.
Ham and Swiss. And toast the bread, huh?
Yeah, make it 2.
Yeah, okay.
We were half through sandwiches as tasteless as sawdust when the door opened behind us. The night air sent a chill over me. Like a premonition. A man came in out of the night. I stared at the newcomer, as if magnetic fingers were drawing me to him. He was dressed in the devil's black. Black so worn it had a satiny sheen. And his face was hard and bitter and evil.
No, just eggs and ham and Swiss, mister. Hey, what's the gun for?
One guess.
Oh, sure, I can guess.
Hurry.
Okay.
It was a black flat automatic.
Your wallet, mister.
I got my wallet and dropped it out on the counter. The chef was stalling over the register. I could tell by the sudden rigidity in his back that he was reaching for a gun. I wanted to scream, warn him not to, but my throat muscles were... Ow! I watched the chef double over. I watched the gunman vault the counter and bear in for the kill. Mary's hand closed over mine and pulled at me.
Ed, quickly.
I was through the door and running for the car on someone else's feet, with Mary pulling at my sleeve.
Ed, hurry.
Yes. We were moving when the killer reached the door and fired. The shots were lost in the night. We left him silhouetted in the doorway. A dark centennial guarding the tomb. Moon shafts touching his automatic. He made it look phosphorescent. The Manhattan skyline was blinking at us before we dared trust our voices. Anyone behind us?
No. There was a car, but it turned off.
Jolly honeymoon.
We'll forget it. We'll just not remember.
Did you watch him, Mary?
No, I couldn't.
How relentlessly he moved in for the kill. How exquisitely cold and efficient, like a machine.
Ed, it's unhealthy, that sort of talk.
I couldn't take my eyes off him. I felt as if he were part of me, come to life, a blood twin, showing me to myself.
Darling,
demonstrating to me what I really was. A killer, cold and efficient like a machine.
No.
He killed that man like I killed Stella Andrews. His instrument was a gun, mine was a typewriter. He used bullets, I used words. But our methods were the same. Deliberate, ruthless, murderous.
Ed, forget him.
We'll see him again, my blood twin. He's my conscience, come to life.
We're going to report this to the police.
No, we're not.
Why?
I'm afraid of him.
But he's a complete stranger. What have we got to fear? We'll never see him again.
We'll see him again, Mary. He'll come calling.
But Ed, the wallet. He has your wallet.
We're We're not strangers to him, Mary. He'll be calling on us. He had my wallet, my name, my whereabouts. But the wallet was only an incidental thing. I knew he'd call. Our lives were intertwined. Somehow he was now as much a part of my life as the ghost of Stella Andrews. We reached home. We just sat around and waited. And soon the phone rang.
Ed.
It's him.
What'll we do?
Answer the phone, I guess. Yes? Ed Tate, yes. Yes. I understand.
What did he say?
I'm to come to the street.
Ed, you won't.
They won't harm me, he said. If I don't come down, he's coming up, he said.
What does he want?
I don't know. I'll go see. He was waiting for me in a big car that looked like a hearse. As I came out of the hall, he motioned me to come sit beside him. The car nosed east toward the river. He didn't talk. He just concentrated on driving. We were close enough for me to touch him. But I wasn't frightened. I felt as if we belonged to each other. Where are we going?
To the river.
What for?
To dump him.
Him was a gesture behind us. I turned to look. There was a packing trunk on the floor in the rear of the car. The chef's corpse. You're going to kill me, too?
Why should I?
To shut me up?
We'll dump the trunk together. That'll shut you up.
Well, wouldn't killing me be simpler?
If you shut up, it's just the same, maybe.
What's your name?
You get an idea.
No. No, I just want to know you very much.
Santo. Just Santo.
We stopped along a deserted wharf, just under the Brooklyn Bridge. And there, with the world asleep and the moon looking on, we dumped a trunk. It sank slowly, twisting in tortured slow motion.
You can go home now, Tate.
Don't you feel it, Santo?
Feel what?
This kinship. We're the same person, Santo.
You're crazy.
No, I mean it. Look at me. Look at me. See our resemblance? We didn't just happen together. You're something out of me. You are me.
You talk too much, Tate. Maybe I'll have to kill you after all.
Oh, you'll kill me, Santo, soon enough. You'll have to kill me. You're my conscience. At home, we just stayed in, Mary and I, staring emptily at each other. It was a honeymoon like a wake. Morning came. The day passed. We did nothing, just sat imprisoned. And then that night, I knew Santa would come. This time for keeps. I knew it by the way my flesh was floating in sweat. Fear was consuming me. Mary, Santo's downstairs.
It's all in your mind.
He's downstairs. He'll be coming up. Mary, where are you going?
To see. Ed, I can't stand much more of this.
Yeah, you go see. And when you come back, signal, like this. Do it twice. Mary went down to check, but I knew the answer. I got my gun and went to the window to watch and wait. Santo was downstairs. When he came up, I killed him.
We know the rest, Tate. Now you must sleep.
Sleep?
Yes. Balmy as a March hare. Right, Doctor? Well, it suggests a vivid hallucinosis induced by his guilt feelings about this Stella Andrews.
This man he killed, did you identify him?
Got a report on it a moment ago. A man named Jenkins. He was the building superintendent.
This Santo, then, just existed in Tate's imagination. Fate dressed in a black suit. It's an interesting hypothesis, Kittredge.
Big headache to me. Oh, Daly, get those notes typed up. Have the department investigate every last detail immediately. Mrs. Tate's in the next room, Doctor. You want to listen in?
Very much, Kittredge.
Mrs. Tate, this is Dr. Thorpe.
How is he, Doctor?
I'm recommending his immediate return to a mental hospital.
Mrs. Tate, your husband just told us a long story. I'll have to ask you some questions for the record.
Yes.
You were just married?
Yes.
Motoring back from Elkton, did you stop at a road stand for refreshments?
No. We came straight to our apartment.
And then what?
He began behaving queerly. He locked us in. We just sat all night, all the next day. The second night, Ed took a gun out of his valise. He stood guard at the window. He said he was waiting for a Santo.
Did you ever see this Santo?
No.
What brought the janitor up at that hour of the night?
Ed was raving insanely. I suppose he came to investigate the noise. Can I go, Mr. Kittle?
No, not right now. You'll have to stay a while. Just routine. My men will be reporting back, and I want you to read your husband's statement and then make one of your own. You can bunk on the bench, grab 40 winks. I think I'll doze off myself. Pick your own chair, Doctor. Oh, Kittredge speaking. Yeah, wait till I get a pencil. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Keep talking. Okay.
Reports coming in, Kittredge?
Yes, Doctor. Explain this. There was a road stand called Joe's Barbecue. My men found it, all boarded up.
Yeah. Tate probably noticed it while driving and wove it into his hallucination.
Mrs. Tate. Mrs. Tate.
Yes.
Did your husband leave the apartment at all last night before the shooting?
He might have while I was asleep.
Why do you ask that question, Kittredge?
Because my men fished a packing trunk out of the East River.
What was in the trunk?
Cement. Bags of cement. What's the medical slant on that?
Only perplexity, Kittredge.
You know, I've got a new theory, Doctor, since we're hypothesizing.
What is it?
That Tate's zany story was true, the whole of it. That the chef and Santo were real. That the whole thing was staged to play on Tate's emotional instability, drive him crazy, then drive him to actual murder by sending that janitor up those stairs.
Like all police theories, too incredible for me.
Mrs. Tate, can you help us out? Give us an idea about that trunk?
No. Ed was irrational, capable of anything.
When he barricaded himself in the room with a gun, why didn't you call the police?
I did. But
what?
The wires were cut.
An odd touch for you, Doctor. The man who wasn't there cut the telephone wires.
Extraordinary.
Cut the wires inside the apartment. Oh, Fate dressed in black. Do you like black, Mrs. Tate?
I do.
Black worn to a satiny sheen. Do you always wear a satiny black, Mrs. Tate?
I prefer it, Mr. District Attorney.
Good heavens, Kittredge, what do you say?
You were Mary Connor when you got married?
Yes.
Who were you, Mary Connor, before you began masquerading as Fate?
Mary Andrews. Stella Andrews was my mother.
Say, want to get married? Okay. May all your troubles be little ones. Confused chap, that Ed Tate. 3 on a honeymoon. Mister, that's asking for trouble. In fact, wouldn't you say it's sort of crowding your luck? And that little man who was there, popping in and out of Ed's mind. You know, if it was me, I'd have started charging him rent. Good night. Pleasant dreams.
This week, guest quacking on the Bah Ghoulie Show, Waddle the Duck. And here's Waddle. Hey folks, Waddle from Watchwaddle here. Hope you're enjoying today's radio program. And if you're considering getting a new radio to listen to them, why not get one with the newest innovation, the 4-speed record player? Because available now is our newest hits from Watchwaddle Production. Check out me and the gang and our hilarious, zany, and crazy tunes, filled with spoofs, gags, and jokes. Available in our playlist collection. Check them out for some cheap laughs and running gags. Whoa. And when we say running gags, we ain't kidding, brother. Screwy Forrest's Watchwaddle cartoons. Available on Channel Watchwaddle. The Bah Ghoulie Show is brought to you by OTR Halloween Holidays.
You've come for my delicious cereal, Count Chocula.
It's chocolatey good.
With a devilishly good chocolatey flavor and tasty marshmallows.
Wrong air, Count. Kids come calling for my Frankenberry cereal. It's frightfully good with strawberry flavor and tasty marshmallows.
What a treat.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
We like both.
You can enjoy this good, nutritious breakfast with
Frankenberry. Count Chocula.
Arch Obler's Lights Out, Everybody. It is later than you think.
This is Arch Obler bringing you another in our series of stories of the unusual. And once again we caution you, these lights-out stories are definitely not for the timid soul. So we tell you calmly and very sincerely, if you frighten easily, turn off your radio now.
Listen to me now, a few light years and generations ago, as I introduce to a very patient lights-out audience my peculiar play, Special to Hollywood.
Most of you have heard of the new-style Hollywood premiere where airplanes full of Hollywood celebrities fly to some town for the first showing of their new picture. The stars in the movie are displayed in a furious burst of glory, and then they rush back to Hollywood again to start their next super epic. Well, tonight let's tell you about the road back from one of these premiere excursions. In this particular case, a most unusual road.
The scene? A transport airplane moving through the sky at high speed. A very pompous-looking individual stands talking to the pilot.
look here, pilot. Can't you make this thing go faster?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Take those infernal earphones or whatever they are off your head and listen to me. I said, can't you make this thing go faster?
150 miles an hour isn't exactly walking, mister.
Now, don't get impertinent. I chartered this special plane for speed, you understand? Speed, not to just go dawdling along through air.
I'll tell him about it when he comes in.
Now, look here. Do you realize who you're talking to?
Look here, mister. I'll be the first to admit you're a big shot, but when you're bucking a 50-mile wind and still making 150 miles an hour, believe me, that's pretty good.
Why, you...
Now, why don't you go back in the cabin and sit down and enjoy yourself like a good fella?
Now, look here. You can't tell me what to do. You can't...
Mark, come here. Mark, I'm talking to you.
Coming, darling, coming.
Well, for Pete's sake, Mark, where have you been? Do I have to spit a lung every time I want to talk to you?
All right, darling, all right. I'm here.
Did you tell him to hurry up?
Yes, everything's taken care of.
Yeah, that's what you say.
MC-19 calling Glendale. MC-19 calling Glendale.
Well,
Hello, Joe. How is it?
I don't know why I went on this trip anyway.
Yeah?
Well, good publicity.
Well, the farmers like it.
I can sit in my own backyard and get all the publicity.
Oh, yeah, everything's normal here.
Don't
Listen.
loan the darling me. Just tell me, where can I get a drink? Well, what are you good for anyway?
Yeah.
Look here, if
No,
not for
that's
me,
only
where would
two
you
of
be?
them.
Yeah, you
When the
tell
third
me.
guy
Well,
starts
everybody
in,
in
boy.
Hollywood knows. Everybody? Who's everybody?
Okay, tell him to get the studio brass band ready. We'll be setting down in a couple hours. Okay. NC-19 signing off.
You heard what I said. How many times do I have to say it? You heard me the first time. If not for me being in it, that picture would stink so loud, the only way anyone could go see it would be with one of those gas things on their face.
Oh, but darling, be reasonable. Any picture that nets $300,000 the first week...
Because I'm in it, that's why. Because I am in it. Isn't that right, Bob?
Huh? What'd you say?
Oh, for Pete's sake, take your nose out of that racing form and listen to me, will you?
Well, listen yourself, beautiful. I'm busy.
Mark, you tell me, how long do I have to put up with this lily imitation of a louse?
Now, Lona,
Oh,
darling...
it's all right, Mark. It's all right. I can take it. For $1,000 a week.
Mark, are you going to let him talk to me like that?
Well, he hasn't said anything.
He's reading my mind.
Why, you two-bit little four-flusher, let me
What
tell
do you mean, four-flusher? Why, if not for me shoving your name in every newspaper in the country, you'd be back in that laundry.
Mark! Mark, did you hear that?
Now, Bob, watch yourself. After
you
all...
keep out of this.
Fire him, Mark!
Yeah, sure, fire me. Go on. So I've got to work for Warner's
Fire
tomorrow.
him, Mark.
Yeah, fire me.
Oh.
Then I'll have some decent pictures to go to town.
Throw him out.
Baby turkey.
Turkey?
Now, Bob, don't go too far. After all...
Did you hear him? My picture's turkey. $300,000 the first week.
Why? Ask me why. Exploitation, that's it. Why, without my publicity, you wouldn't be back in that laundry. You'd be in it.
Why, you little squirt, you! I'll scratch your eyes out.
You lay a hand on me and I'll slap you down to hell.
Mark, do something.
Huh? Oh, you're fired. You hear me, Bob? Fired. Why, you big bag of wind. Who do you think you're fired?
Mark, throw him out.
Why, I'll go to JB tomorrow. I'll have him cut your heart out.
Fired, I tell you.
Out on
You're
your
not
ears.
a producer.
What?
You're a fugitive from that laundry that she used to work.
Blacklist him, Mark. Have him blacklisted. You can do it.
Metro, Xanax, Wanger. I can walk into a dozen jobs tomorrow morning.
I'll run you out of Hollywood.
You'll starve to death and I'll kick you in the face.
Yes.
You won't get another job in Hollywood if I have to.
Oh, that crazy pilot.
Well, what's he doing?
Well, tell him to stop.
Crazy fool climbing like that?
Well, don't just stand there. Go on, give him the devil.
Well, all right, I'm going. All right. Hey, you, pilot, you crazy?
All right, mister. Had to climb. Storm ahead.
Well, who cares about the storm? You get us home, do you understand?
Okay, you're paying for it. Here. Message for you. Came over the radio.
Oh, all right. Hand it over.
What is it, Mark, for me?
No, me. Yeah, me.
What's up, huh?
Mark, what's the matter with you? Mouth open like a fish. Read it.
It says that John Webster killed himself.
Say.
You're kidding.
No. See for yourself.
John Webster, young novelist, committed suicide, 1 p.m.
I never thought he'd do it.
I didn't either. Killing himself just because we changed...
Yeah. Are you laughing?
Sure, why not?
Now, Lona, darling, after all...
After all what? Two wise guys, and neither one of you has got as many brains as the left side of my Pekingese.
What?
Okay, let's have it.
You, the great Mr. Crane, the publicity wonder
Cut
boy.
the needles, will you, and let's have it.
Yes, Lona, what are you getting at?
So he's dead. So instead of looking down your noses, you two ought to be standing on your heads.
What? Oh, she's not.
Oh, am I? The picture getting national release this week, and the sap who writes the words blows his brains out, and I'm supposed to cry, huh?
Say, I get it.
Call out the Marines.
Lona, you mean that now he can't bother us with an injunction?
Well, who's thinking about injunctions? He couldn't stop the picture anyway. You said yourself he signed away all the rights.
Then why...
Oh, Bob, you tell him.
Oh, it's terrific. Mark, don't you get it?
Huh?
So we had the premiere in Chicago. So, all right, it's done.
Don't you start in that again.
Okay, it wasn't your fault. The director was no good. The film was no good. The cutters got the story loused up. The critics all had bellyaches. What's the difference? What the reason was? The picture was a flopperoo. It laid eggs all the way up and down State Street.
Get to the point.
I passed it already. Huh? Don't you get it, Mark? The author of the novel we made the film out of blows his top. Why? Ask me why.
I don't have to ask you. The kid told me yesterday right in the hotel. Ruined his life work, he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. But that won't be what I'll say.
Huh? Well, who did you...
Oh, for Pete's sake, Mark, shut your mouth and listen to the guy. For the first time in a year, he's got a good idea. My idea.
That's what you think. Now, listen, Mark. With this angle, we can turn the picture into a gold mine.
Well, say it.
I'll say it. The reason that crazy kid killed himself was because the picture was so terrific. He was done. Finished.
Yeah, his life work comes to life on the silver screen, so the boy genius bows out. Don't you get it?
But that isn't true.
Oh, for the love
I mean, who'll believe you? It's crazy.
Well, you listen to the guy, Lona. Crazy.
Sure, crazy. A story like that, no newspaper will believe it.
Oh, won't they? How about if you have a letter the kid wrote you just before he, did it?
That's all right.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't write me any such letter.
Oh, Lona, you tell him.
Look, Mark, what are you trying to do? Give an imitation of Dopey?
Huh?
Did the savvy kid have to write a letter? Aren't there plenty of guys you got at the studio who write you a letter like that for $10?
Yeah, and give you change for $5.
Aren't there?
Oh, he's right. Why, the kid bumping himself off's a natural.
And who thought of it first? You tell me.
Storm, what kind of screwy pilot we got?
Oh, Mark, don't just stand there. Do something.
Huh? Oh, all right. I'll talk to you.
Bob, so dark. The light.
Well, I can't find the switch. Oh, there.
Mark, tell him to get us out of this.
Gee, it is dark out there.
You two fatheads. I told you I didn't want to go to Chicago. Mark, tell him to get us out of this storm. Mark, can you hear me? Mark!
I'll go.
No, don't leave me.
Listen, we're climbing.
Climbing? So what does that mean?
He's taking us up above the storm.
Oh, why doesn't he hurry? I hate thunder. Mark!
All right, darling, it's all right.
Oh, what's all right? What?
He's getting us up over the top of the storm.
Yeah, like I told you.
Oh, what did the buzzard get us into this for in the first place? Mark, if you don't get him fired out...
There we are, in the light again.
Will you look at those clouds down there?
Oh, who cares? Oh, what I'd give for a scotch.
We'll be home soon.
You can't even see the ground. It's like a carpet from here.
Hey, will you shut up? Who cares about clouds?
Listen, Toots and Fritz, who's talking to you?
Mark, did you hear what he said to me?
No, don't start. Again, the two of you. I've had all I can stand these 3 days.
You've had? Hey, will you listen to the guy? Who was pulled and pushed around from everyone from the Cicero Fan Club #1 to those slop-eared exhibitors to those lousy reporters?
Hey, wait a minute.
Huh?
What's the matter?
I got an idea. Now, listen. That screwy author. When we land, I'll have a wire sent. We'll have the body sent to the coast and bury him at the studio's expense.
Huh?
Yeah, sort of a state funeral for the author of Lorna Douglas's greatest vehicle.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they won't...
Who won't? The kid didn't have anybody, so we'll do the honors, see? Special car all across the country. Make every news service in the world.
Oh, I don't know. Morbid. You know, morbid. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the trouble. You don't know. The first good idea that Lily's had...
Now, wait a minute.
And you start getting artistic or something. Now, let me tell you... Hey, what's the matter with you? Hey, Mark, I'm talking to you.
Listen.
Huh?
What? Bob, you...
What's the matter with you two?
Engines.
Huh?
The engine, it stopped.
So what? We're landing. What's the matter with you two saps? Shut off the engine because we're landing.
No.
Pilot, what's the matter? Pilot, what's happened?
I don't know.
What is it? What's happened?
What is this? Mark, what did he chase off for? What's the matter? We are landing, aren't we? What did he get so excited about?
The engine stopped.
Hey, will you stop saying that? So what?
We're not due in for an hour yet.
Something's wrong. Pilot, what's the matter? Pilot.
Lona, wait. Lona!
What's the big idea? Well, what kind of a pilot are you?
Now, let me talk to you. Listen, you, what's the matter? Shut up!
We're not landing, see? We're not landing.
But the engine...
Yeah, they stopped. We must be landing.
Of course we must be landing. What are you trying to tell us?
Blast you, shut up!
You can't talk to her that way.
Sock him.
Yeah, who do you think you're talking to?
Fools, will you shut up? Now, look. Look, I tell you.
What?
The indicator, airspeed indicator.
Huh?
We're not falling.
Mark, what's he saying?
Listen, I'm telling you, we're not falling. Engine's dead and we're not falling. You fools, what are you looking at me like that for? Don't you understand? We're hanging. Just hanging in the air.
Hanging. Air.
You dirty-faced buzzard. What are you trying to pull? What are you trying to pull?
Well, dead. Just hanging in air.
Hanging. Air.
Listen, the three of them. I've been around. They pulled all kinds of fancy tricks on me. Well, if this is a gag, I don't like it. Do you hear me? I don't like it. Now get me down out of here. Bob. Bob. He's passed out.
Come on. Back in the cabin. Let us sit down. Mr. Markham, you too.
Bob,
He'll be all right. Come on.
Hanging. In air.
This is a gag, isn't it? Tell me, isn't it? We're moving. Oh, we've got to be moving. Talk, blast you, talk!
Lady, my arm. Cut it out, will you?
Well, then tell me what's happening. What? Bob passed out, Mark looking like his mouth. You've got to talk. You've got to tell me. We are moving, aren't we?
No.
You liar. You dirty liar. We are. We are.
Stop it. Look. Down there.
You dirty liar. Trying to scare me.
Look. See on the clouds down there? Our shadows standing still. We're not moving. Get that through your head. We're hanging in space, I tell you.
I'm all right. Just leave me alone.
Hit your head.
Leave me alone, I tell you. Be all sitting around looking at me for I passed out, all right. You're all just as scared as I am. You know what you are. You, Mark, you're scared. Your face green. Answer me, you're scared, aren't you? Hanging in air. There, you see, he's off his nut. You, Lorna, you're scared too, aren't you?
Why don't you shut up?
Pilot, you're scared green too, aren't you? Not me alone, you. Answer me, you.
Maybe I'd better shut you up.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared.
All right, Bob. All right.
Oh, I don't want to.
All right now. All right. Don't talk. Bury your head. Yeah, that's right. Pilot. Sam.
Yeah?
What time is it?
5.
The radio?
What's the use? Tried it 100 times. Dead as
We're going to be. Don't listen to what you're talking about, Bob. Just try not to think. Sam.
Yeah?
How long have we been?
An hour.
Only that?
Seems like a million. Watch says only an hour.
Mark. Mark, listen. Mark, I'm talking to you.
Hanging in air.
I wish I was like he is.
Yeah.
So scared, can't see or hear or think. Look.
Hmm?
He's gone to sleep. Bob.
Yeah.
Wore himself out crying. Funny, huh?
Nothing's funny.
Guess not. But I got funny thoughts in my head.
What?
A minute ago, I was thinking about when I was a kid. You want to hear about when I was a kid?
Why not?
Bob here and all the rest of the publicity guys have written so much junk about me being the only daughter of, poor but respectable small-town people. I almost got to thinking it was true. Yeah, would you believe it? I paid some wise guy over on Sunset Boulevard $1,000 for a coat of arms of the family to hang up in the hall. You know, one of those fancy shields with lions crawling all over it and things. Should have had a couple of beer bottles on it instead of lions. Yeah. You want to know my real name? What's the difference? Beer bottles, yeah. Beer bottles and the smell of the laundry coming up the air shaft and a lot of dirt. That's what I remember from when I was a kid. Sam?
Yeah?
I just wanted to hear you talk. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I was thinking something funny about when I was a kid. When it was hot at night, I used to lie on my back on the roof. Look at the clouds and make off. I was just sort of hanging in the air. Honest, Sam, I'd want that. Funny now.
Gravity.
What?
Did I say something?
You said gravity. Why?
I was thinking.
What?
Gravity's pulling us down.
Well?
I was thinking of what's pulling us up.
There aren't any answers.
No?
No. No answers. When I was that kid, I found answers. Yeah, how to get along. How to get out of the smell and dirt. Real answers. They took me a long way. $5,000 a week, 5-year contract, no options. I did all right with my answers. Here's one answer I haven't got. Because there isn't any answer.
Maybe there is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You listen to me. Supposing I listen to you.
I don't know how to talk.
Oh, you just go ahead.
For a whole hour, I've been trying to figure things out.
So?
There isn't any real answer. I mean, that adds up like a column of figures on a slide rule when you're trying to figure out the stress on a wing. Nothing like that, but kind of screwy ideas come to me. Oh, I talk about it.
Go on.
I'm just a bozo. Ever since I've been able to stand on my own feet, everything's got to be able to add up or it just doesn't mean anything to me. But when I was a kid...
Well,
when I was a kid, I really had the... Well, like you said, the poor but respectable parents. You know, the kind they believed in somebody up there and somebody down below and good and evil and all the rest of it. Funny, you thinking about when you were a kid, me thinking the same thing.
you said you had the answers.
Yeah, it's like this. I heard the three of you talking all the way from the coast of Chicago and now back again. Talking about nothing but yourselves. Each one of you. Nothing meaning anything but yourselves. We weren't like this up here. I know I wouldn't be able to say this, but... Well, why not say it? You making more money in a week than the average guy with a family sweats out his insides for in a year. But instead of the money making you understand anything, it's made you understand less than a blind kid walking in the dark. Everything's for you. The world's just a big movie screen. Everybody in it just there to sit up and look at you. Yeah, I heard. Somebody wrote a book. You bought it, made a picture out of it. Maybe it was an honest book, but you didn't buy it to be honest. You bought it to make dough. So the kid blew his brains out. And even dead, he couldn't get away from you. Yeah. You were going to use his dead body to make you more money. Yeah, dead or alive, nothing means anything to you. There's no world but your screwy world. Everybody all over the world can crawl on the ground, hiding from bombs, can be starved and watch their kids starve and die on barbed wire, fighting for something they don't know much about, and drown in the sea, and it don't mean anything to you. None of it. As long as each of you can hold on to what you've got. Yeah. The three of you acting as if you weren't made of the same flesh and blood as the rest of us. As if making a lot of money and seeing your name in the paper a lot and getting a lot of applause took you right off the earth. Maybe something or somebody decided you weren't fit for the earth. Maybe. You crying?
No.
You asked me. I told you.
I was in a picture once. The girl got in a jam. She didn't know how to pray, but she started to pray. Well, that was in a picture. This is real, isn't it?
Yeah.
If anybody told me a couple of hours ago that all this... Mark sitting there out of his head, Bob. Me sitting here listening to the kind of thing you...
You asked me, I told you.
You told me. It was a lousy trick, wasn't it?
Hmm?
About that kid who died. I'm sorry about that. Even thinking about it. I'm sorry.
The engine.
We've started again.
We're in a dive. I gotta get it.
Mark, Bob! We're moving again. Mark!
It's all right. Everything's all right.
Oh, Mark, Bob, wake up. Snap out of it. You hear? Everything's all right.
Sure, it's settled. I know my publicity. Thing like this isn't good. It's bad.
I'm not arguing with you. All right.
Spread a screwy thing like this, and every reporter in the country be holding his nose. It's too screwy, that's all.
For heaven's sake, will you stop talking about it? For the last hour, my head's starting to go around. It's forgotten. Finished. So whatever it was, we'll forget.
On the way. That pilot. You talk to him?
Sure. He won't talk. He wants to eat, don't he? So he won't talk.
Got everything fixed, huh?
Well, prima donna's talking again.
Now, Lona, you understand. Nobody's going to know about this. Like Bob says, crazy publicity is bad publicity, and this all was crazy, wasn't it?
I'll say. Hey, look, we're over the airport.
Good. Drink. Do I need a drink?
Bathtub full. I'm going to swim in it.
A terrible experience, terrible, but all's well that ends well, eh, Lona? A terrible experience, but now finished. Everything's just the same, eh, Lona? Everything's just the same.
I wonder.
MC-19 coming in. MC-19 coming in. Hello, Joe. Yeah, I had a little trouble a while back. Yeah, engine trouble. Yeah. Everything's back to normal now. Yeah. Everybody okay? Everything just the same. I wonder.
The Bah Ghoulie Show is brought to you by OTR Halloween Holidays.